Hello guys, together with Sarah here. Okay, today I will tell a story with title The Open Window by Saki. Do you know? No? If you don't know, please watch this video until end. Thank you. Okay, let's start it. The Open Window by Saki. My aunt will be down presently, Mr. Nagel, said a very self-possessed young lady of 15. In the meantime, you must try and put up with me. From the noodle, endeavored to say the correct something which should deliver the nice of the moment without utterly discounting the aunt that was to come. Privately, he doubted more than ever whether this formal visit on a succession of total strangers would do much toward helping the nerve cure which he was supposed to be undergoing. I know how it will be, his sister had said when she was preparing to immigrate to this rural retreat. You will bury yourself down there and not speak to a living soul, and your nerves will be worse than ever from mobbing. I shall just give you letters of introduction to all the people I know there. Some of them, as far as I can remember, were quite nice. Frampton wondered whether Mrs. Clapperton, the lady to whom he was presenting one of the letters of introduction, come into the nice division. Do you know many of the people around here? Asked the nice, when she judged that they had sufficient silence communication. Hardly a soul, said Frampton. My sister was staying here, at the rectory, you know, some 4 years ago, and she gave me letters of introduction to some of the people here. He made the last statement in a tone of dignified regret. Then, you know practically nothing about my aunt? Pursued the self-possessed young lady. Only her name and address, admitted the caller, who was wondering whether Mrs. Sapeton was in the married or widowed state, and unfindable something about the room seemed to suggest masculine habitation. Her great tragedy happened just 3 years ago, sighed the child. That won't be since your sister's time. Her tragedy? Asked Frampton. Somehow, in this restful country spot, tragedies seem out of place. You may wonder why we keep that window wide open on the October afternoon, said the nurse, indicating a large French window that opened on to a lawn. It is quite warm for the time of the year. But has the window got anything to do with the tragedy? Out through the window, 3 years ago to a day, her husband and her 2 young brothers went off for their day's shooting. They never come back. In crossing the moor, their favorite snipe shooting ground, they were all three engulfed in a treacherous space of bog. It had been that dreadful wet summer, you know, and places that were safe in older years gave way suddenly without warning. Their bodies were never recovered. That was the dreadful part of it. Here, the child voice lost its self-possessed note and became falteringly human. Poor Anne always thinks that they will come back someday. They and the little brown spaniel that was lost with them, and walk in at the window just as they used to do. That is why the window is kept open every evening till it is quite dusk. Poor dear Anne, she was often told me how they went out, her husband with his white waterproof coat her over his arm, and Rooney, her younger brothers, singing "Pretty, why do you bound?" And he always did the teaser her because she said it got on her nerves. Do you know, sometimes on still quiet evening like this, I almost get a creepy feeling that they will walk in through the window. She broke off a little shudder. It was a relief to Frampton when the aunt busted into the room with a wail of apologies for being late in making her appearance. "I hope Vera has been amusing you," she said. "She has been very interesting," said Frampton. "I hope you don't mind the open window," said Mrs. Stapleton briskly. "My husband and brothers will be home directly from shooting, and they always come in this way. They have been out of snipe and the marshes today, so they will make a fine mess over my poor carpets. So, like human folk, is, isn't, isn't it?" She rattled on carefully about the shooting and the cruelties of birth, and the prospect of dark in the winter. To Frampton, it was all purely horrible. He made a desperate but only partly successful effort to turn the talk onto a less ghastly topic. He was conscious that his hostess was giving him only a fragment of her attention, and her eyes were constantly straying past him to the window and the lawn beyond. It was certainly an unfortunate coincidence that he should have paid his visit on this tragic anniversary. The doctor agreed in ordering me complete rest, and absence of mental excitement and avoidance of anything in the nature of violent physical experience. Nonsense Frampton, who labored under the tolerably widespread delusion that total strangers and chance acquaintances are hungry for the less detail of one's ailments and infirmities, their cause and cure. On the matter of diet, they are not such much in agreement, he continued. "No," said Mr. Slapton, in a voice which only replaced and yawned at the last moment. Then she suddenly brightened into alert attention, but not to what Frampton was saying. "Here there at least," she cried, "just in time for tea, and don't they look as if they were moody up to the ears?" Frampton shivered slightly and turned towards the niece with a look intended to convey sympathetic comprehension. The child was trying to outthrow the open window with a dazed horror in her eyes. In a chill shock of nameless fear, Frampton swung around in his seat and looked in the time-same direction. In the deepening twilight, three figures are walking across the lawn towards the window. They all carried guns under their arms, and one of them was additionally burdened with a white coat hung over his shoulders. A tired brown spaniel kept close at their heels. Noisily, they neared the house, and then a hoarse young voice chanted out of the dusk, "I said, Pretty, why do you pound?" Frampton grabbed Whitley and his stick and hat. The hall door, the gravel drive, and the front gate were dimly mounted strangers in his headlong traitor. A cyclist coming along the road had to run into the hedge to avoid imminent collisions. "Here we are, my dear," sighed a bearer of the white Mackintosh coming in through the window. "Fairly moody, but most of it dry. Who was that who pulled out as we come up?" "A most extraordinary man, a Mr. Nuttall," said Mrs. Stapleton. "Could only talk about his illness and dash off without a word of goodbye or apology when you arrive. One would think he had seen a ghost." "I expect it was the spinal," sighed Denise calmly. "He told me he had a horror of dogs. He was once hunted in a cemetery somewhere on the banks of the Ganges by a pack of birch dogs, and had to spend the night in a newly dug grave with the creatures snarling and grinning and foaming and just about him, enough to make anyone lose their nerve." Okay, guys, that is a short story about The Open Window by Saki. Thank you for watching, and